All right. Hello, I'm Sam and this is Kylie, and we are here to talk about, is my product a medical device?
In our presentation, we'll cover four main objectives. First, we'll define a medical device. Then we'll talk about special considerations. We'll provide an example. And lastly, we'll identify ways to request further assistance.
Starting with the definition, in the statutory role of Section 201H of the Food and Drug and Cosmetic Act, we're dealing with an instrument, or generally just a contrivance, that has specific components, parts, or accessories that involve both being recognized by the official national formulary or the United States Pharmacopoeia or any other supplements to them, but overall its intended use is in the diagnosis of a disease or condition, or in the cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of a disease in man or other animals. Its intended effect really does involve the structure and function of the body of man or animals, but for its own primary intended purpose, it cannot be conducted through chemical action or be dependent on being metabolized for its overall effect. The term device does not include software functions, excluding to pursuant Section 520, but this is a lot in terms of statutory definition, so to simplify things.
So to simplify, a medical device has three main components to keep in mind. First, it's a device with medical relevance in animals or humans. Second, it does not achieve its primary intended purpose through chemical action or metabolism. And lastly, it does not include software functions except for some exceptions that were later defined by the FDA.
And those special considerations involve quite a few groups. The in vitro diagnostic tool is one that does have the intended function of diagnosis, cure, treatment. It's on the order of a pregnancy test, where it's a device that interacts with a biologic, but because it's not interfacing with the body or other animals, it is classified as an in vitro diagnostic product. There's also another one with radiation emitting products like an MRI, where it's not necessarily on the role of creating a chemical or metabolic function in the body, but it is using radiation to kind of devise the diagnosis or the overall condition of the patient. Mobile medical applications, on the other hand, are much like a diabetes tracking app, where patients or just regular users can put in their information and get an idea of when they need to schedule their next dose of insulin based on their blood sugar levels. Software as a medical device is a little bit different though, and that usually involves a database where it's collecting patient records. And one of an example is called GoDerma, where patients can actually take pictures of their skin and it can be sent over to a dermatologist where they can actually look at the condition of the patient and offer diagnosis. A general wellness product though, that's on like a Fitbit. It's not necessarily on the scope of a medical service, but it's very much so integrating with the public health or the patient health in terms of their exercise activity and general sleeping habits as well. But overall, the combination products are something of a general bubble that engage with a lot of different aspects. But it's in the role of having a medical device that also uses the chemistry or metabolism for its intended function. And those particular classifications of which center is under its regulation, that's something that we can talk about later. But a good example of one is a pre-filled syringe of either a biologic or some kind of drug. The syringe itself is the device, but the overall extra juice that's in it is what gives it a special consideration under these statutory rules. So next.
So now to provide an example of how one would go about classifying a medical device, the presentation we reviewed looked at diapers, specifically adult versus infant diapers. And at first, when they were looking at the intended use, they found that it was the same. They were both a garment that was protecting either adults or infants from urine or stool. But then after looking further into the functionality of this product, they were able to see that the adult diaper is classified as a medical device because it protects incontinent patients. So it is providing a medical service to adults, where the infant diaper is still just a garment that protects all infants from urine or stools.
It can be confusing though, which one matches which center and whether or not your product actually is classified as a medical device. So you can actually get assistance. One way is to contact the Division of Industry and Consumer Education, and they can provide some guidance on what your product is going to involve. But also a formal request can be submitted through for specific assistance through the 513G request to the FDA. There's other ways you can do it where you can reference other online resources from the FDA, And it's helpful to kind of compare what originally, like if there's other products that are similar to yours, what regulatory process they went through, that does offer some insight on what you're probably gonna have to go through for your product. But overall, that is all we have for you. Here's our references. Thank you for your time, and I hope this helps with your ability to identify whether or not you are having a medical device in your hands. Thank you so much.